right, y'all. So I wanted to rehash this whole glove controversy with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Just to clarify, there's been a lot of footage from both their first and second fight, but this has been brought up after the second fight because that's when he effectively stopped Deontay Wilder. So a lot of people are saying his gloves were manipulated, he was cheating, etc. That's the fans that are saying that. So I stand corrected. It wasn't actually Wilder's camp that officially said it. It was actually fans and people on social media saying that Fury had cheated. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go through a couple of these videos that I watched. Then I'm going to bust out the MX gloves and tell you what I think again with my fist in it. But here's one from the Mayweather Boxing channel. And I'm not going to watch all 6 minutes. I'll just kind of skip through on what.
This is nothing. So even if he did do it, it wouldn't make it. It wouldn't be helping him. It would be hurting him.
See.
What the fuck is this? I can't even.
So they're basically talking about how you have your hand as a fist halfway in the glove. So obviously you want to punch with your two knuckles, your index and your middle finger knuckle. That's where you get the most power and that explosiveness. But that slapping motion is not going to do anything.
Like this.
Cheating technique.
All right, let's watch this right here.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm gonna open this up. This is Kevin Johnson.
Cheating techniques. You know what I mean? Everybody been talking about it.
So you can see his hands are in a fist halfway down the glove where the laces are at. And he's basically just gonna see how it feels, hit the bag a little bit. And kind of give his thoughts on the thing. And this is what I think. I mean, he expresses the same thing I've expressed. I don't see how it gives you an advantage or is even a good thing on Fury's part to even have his hands halfway down the glove, because you can essentially hurt your own hand, break it. And not you're basically slap boxing.
So either way, the referee don't call this. This is basically a slap. It's basically you handing with your whole freaking forearm, right? You know what I mean? Instead of doing this, you know what I mean? See how that?
So how do you feel? So how do you feel? Do you feel like you have the advantage fighting like that?
Hell no. You ain't knocking nobody out. Most definitely not Wilder with these.
You feel like you hurt yourself or your opponent?
No, definitely gonna hurt yourself.
You're gonna hurt yourself. Exactly.
Damage your hand. You know what I mean? So basically, you know.
So again, it makes no sense why people are saying that he was cheating or trying to get an advantage, because people are saying the same thing that I've said. What are you going to gain from having your hand half-ass in the glove, and you're not going to get no power behind it. You're going to end up injuring yourself. Let's look at the Jacob Duran video, who is obviously was Tyson Fury's cut man. Let's go ahead and type that in. And again, I just want you guys to see this. I'm not, you know, this is all, just go to there's one that with the Mayweather Boxing channel where he talks about it. All right, so Tyson Fury cut man, stage on calls glove tampering accusations ridiculous.
The reason you put gloves on them on, you lace them up.
So again, man, that's just Stitch Duran's opinion on it. He was Fury's cut man in his last fight. And again, I mean, these are people that have been in the business, in this boxing business for a long time, giving their opinion. I'm going to show you guys the gloves again. I'm going to put my hands in them, show you how flexible the Everlast MX gloves are, which were used in the first fight. Both gloves he used in the first and second fight were green colored. So a lot of people are getting confused. The second fight, the most recent fight where he stopped Wilder, was with green Paffin Sports fight gloves. But the first ones were the Everlast MX. So again, let's look at these. Take a look. You can see it for yourself. Make your own opinion. Hey, what's up, guys? Carlo here again. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about and rehash this whole Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury glove gate, if they want to call it. I had a video that I posted yesterday. A lot of different opinions. A lot of people bringing up different opinions, saying that, you know, Fury was cheating. You clearly see the gloves and how they were bending, and his gloves were modified. They were altered. And just to clarify, with the first fight, he used these Everlast MX gloves. These are the 10 ounce. These are the exact gloves he would be using. In his first fight with Wilder, we all know how that ended up. That ended up being a draw. And in their second fight, he was wearing similar looking gloves. They were green colored, Paffin Sport Fight gloves, Mexican style as well. In his second fight where he stopped Wilder. So there's been a lot of different school of thoughts. There's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures from both fights that a lot of fans, and I stand corrected, it wasn't actually Deontay Wilder's team, but a lot of fans have pointed out that there was something up with Tyson Fury's gloves. Now, the video I showed you guys earlier was me watching the videos with you guys on YouTube, looking at different channels like Mayweather Boxing Channel, some of the boxers at the Mayweather Boxing Club talking about how if it would be advantageous or not to have your glove on halfway as a fist, compared to having your hand all the way in properly and punching with that. You also saw Jacob Stitch Duran talk about it and give his thoughts and opinions. And again, this is just to look at it from our perspective, trying to gain to see if this is even any merit or if there's anything legitimate about it. And in my opinion, I don't think there is. But again, here's the Everlast MX glove. So I'm gonna put my hands in here, and like I said yesterday in yesterday's video, I'm literally half the size of these heavyweights, both in terms of my hand size, my weight, probably even my wrist, my hand, my palm. Just the size of their hands is going to be much larger than mine, and my hand fits pretty snug in this. So I could imagine, Tyson Fury's hand being much larger and much more snug. Now, if I create a fist with this glove, and you can see actually how flexible this glove is. I mean, most pro fight gloves are pretty mushy. You can see around the wrist area. It's not like a standard bag or training glove where you have a lot of support. They're much more softer, especially these MX style. You can see right here how soft it is. And again, before these gloves are even used during a fight, both a representative from both Wilder's and Fury's team is going to be watching how these gloves are laced up, taped up, and put on, and then signed off by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So everything is checked. It's not like they're doing this in someone's bathroom and they put it on and they walk out with nobody looking at them. They inspect these gloves and make sure. The commission actually gets these gloves. They have several different pairs to make sure that both teams agree to the gloves that they're going to use for the fight on both sides. So Fury would have to agree with Wilder's gloves as well as Wilder's team agreeing with the gloves that Fury is using in the fight to make it fair for both sides, for both teams. But again, just to show you how flexible and soft these gloves are, I actually brought a couple other pairs of fight gloves. These are some 10-ounce Russian boxers. These are essentially the same as Grant's. But again, you can just see, again, there's a lot of flexibility. You can see that these can bend without much give on these gloves. These are actually autographed, off topic, were autographed by Costa Zoo. Big fan of his. And then I have these rival fight gloves right here. And these are the 10-ounce Guerrero fight gloves. And again, you can see how soft these are. A lot of flex. And I'm just, again, showing you just how the consistency of fight gloves typically are. You're not going to have a ton of wrist support. It's not going to be a very stiff feeling glove. But back to these MX. So if I were to make a fist and somehow drop my hand out of this hand compartment and down below, and now my hand is in a fist, it is virtually impossible to actually land with these two front knuckles, right? Because if I'm throwing a hook, how am I going to physically land my knuckles are actually getting stuck in the glove. There's no way for my hand to even rotate in this glove to even, my knuckles are all the way back here. And my hands are much smaller. So if anybody should be able to rotate their hand and turn it over, would be me, because I have much smaller hands than Fury. But you can see I can't even get my knuckles to turn. I would literally have to rip the glove and have this pushed literally all the way back. And even then, look how far back. I'm literally twisting the hell out of this glove. And even then, my knuckles aren't even, I mean, you literally have to do that. And then even then, it's just almost impossible for your knuckles to even land. So essentially, even if his hand was down, you're going to be punching with this part of your hand, is the front of your knuckles, which is a great way to break your hand. That's like a really good way of doing that. So you're basically saying he's going to hit Wilder like this, which has really not much of an impact as hitting with your two front knuckles like you're supposed to right here properly. If your hand was in this glove and you turned over and you hit, that's going to do a lot more damage in my opinion than just slapping, okay? So I just don't understand Headlock's going to give you an advantage, and there's several pros that agree with that. And then for those that are wondering, yes, you can flex your hands back and forth with these gloves. So you can see here, that's how much I can go back with my hand. Again, everybody's different. You might have more flexible hands. I don't know. You know, I'm not in your shoes. I could do that with my hand. I could do that with my hand. So depending on Tyson Fury's fighting style, a lot of guys, when they're punching, and this is even me, I don't keep my hands clenched. You're not supposed to do that. When you throw a punch, you're supposed to leave them a little open. A lot of times, boxing coaches will leave your hands kind of open because you want to be loose and you want to have that shoulder snap when you're throwing your punches. And right when you're about to turn over your punch and you land, you want to close your fist and make a fist. That's where you get that whipping and that momentum, and then you get that nice pop that you get when you're throwing your punch over. Is leaving your hand a little empty, then bang, right at the point of impact, you make a fist. So I know that Fury, when you're watching him, he likes to kind of paw with that lead hand. He uses his jab, his lead hand, to paw with it. And there's going to be times where he's throwing a hook and he's in the middle of a combination. You're in the middle of a fight. You're not sitting there thinking about, you know, correct form. You know, you're not shadow boxing. You're in the middle of a fight. And a lot of times he might throw a punch, and then at the very end, he's going to try to turn the punch over, or he doesn't. He ends up slapping him with it. If Wilder felt that it was affecting him in a way that was negatively impacting his ability to win the fight, or he felt that Tyson Fury was cheating, then in my opinion, he would have said something about it. Like, if this dude like headbutt me, or if he's charging in and you're in a pro fight, you would tell the referee, like, dude, this dude keeps pushing his head in, do something about it. You need to, you know, tell him or give him a warning. Or if you feel this dude keeps slapping you with the inside of his glove or the inside part of his hand, you would say something. You'd be like, hey, dude, this dude is literally like Muay Thai clinching with his hand and hitting me with it. Can you keep in mind? Or your corner would say something about it. So again, I just don't see what kind of advantage having your hand halfway down the glove is going to do. And again, this is just my opinion on that. It literally gives you, it actually makes it worse. I don't feel like you can punch properly with this if you have your hand like that hitting the bag. I mean, or hitting your opponent, should I say? You're going to end up injuring your hand and breaking your hands. If you had a pair of gloves on, you'll know that you'll end up breaking your hands that way. So I just don't see how that's even plausible or even an advantage to Fury against Wilder. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, a lot of the footage that you guys are seeing online is actually from the first fight. So keep in mind when you guys are looking at the pictures and the videos, don't get them mixed up because both gloves are green. He used both green colored gloves for both of his fights. The first fight though, you can clearly see the Everlast written on the glove. Second fight, you'll see the Papin Sport. So just make sure you guys aren't getting them mixed up because a lot of it's the video of the first fight. And again, nobody brought that up after the first fight. A lot of people brought it up after the second fight about the whole glove controversy, which in my mind is just completely just unnecessary. I don't think there's really much merit to it. So again, that's just my thoughts on it. You can see the flexibility of the glove, how soft these are. I mean, they're pretty soft, pliable Mexican style glove. I don't really think Fury was doing, in my opinion, anything that he was trying to cheat or trying to gain an advantage. I just don't see it. I mean, you know, if he was, only he knows that. I mean, but looking at it from my perspective and looking at some of the videos and seeing what other people have spoken on, I just don't see it. So make sure you guys put your comments down below. Try to keep it clean. I mean, I know everyone has their opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to make it into race because it's really not about that, man. Just enjoy boxing for what it is. Be a fan of the sport. Don't try to be a fan of one particular person. Be a fan of the sport. And that's what makes it fun. So leave your comments below. I'll see you guys soon.